From the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Hello and welcome to KUJH. I'm Will Weber.
And I'm Candace Tarver. Missing Lawrence? We have what's been happening around campus this summer.
The DeBruce Center officially opened its doors on Saturday to families, students, and basketball fans alike. The event had a family atmosphere with activities such as shooting hoops, face painting, and drawings for basketball tickets. The facility has two purposes. The first is to hold the original rules of basketball written by Dr. James Naismith himself. The other is to create an environment for students, families, and visitors to enjoy.
We want the students to come and make it an energetic building all the time. And we also want visitors to feel welcome and, you know, employees of the university and heck, even Missouri fans maybe.
A grand opening for students will take place during the fall semester, but a set date hasn't been finalized yet.
Local Lawrence movie theater Regal Southwind Stadium 12 recently underwent substantial renovations. KUJH reporter Matt Kaufman has more details on the improvements.
Popular Lawrence movie theater Regal Southwind Stadium 12 recently finished extensive interior renovations that cost over $1.5 million. The theater, located on South Iowa Street, put the finishing touches on the makeover within the past couple months, and Lawrence moviegoers appreciate the changes.
Yeah, the movie theater is noticeably nicer, and I'm a big movie guy, so I'm there a lot. Really, any change or upgrade is appreciated, so I mean, I'll definitely be back.
The focus of the renovations was overhauling the seating within the theaters. All 12 movie theaters now have higher quality, fully reclining seats, addressing previous complaints of uncomfortable seating and lack of leg room.
The new reclining seats are a real game changer. The fact that they have it in every movie theater just shows that they are listening to all the feedback.
It's a lot more comfortable and makes the whole movie experience more enjoyable.
The theater also installed new finishes in all 12 theaters and throughout the lobby, giving the interior a much-needed facelift. Reporting from Lawrence, this is Matt Kaufman, KUJH News.
With the interior improvements now finished, the theater currently has no plans for any exterior renovations.
In light of recent shootings across the United States, local emergency services are taking precautions to prepare for the worst. KUJH reporter G.J. Malia has more on Lawrence's preventative measures.
Following the Orlando nightclub shooting on June 12th, I spoke with multiple local officials about what precautions and preparations they have in place in the case of a public emergency like Orlando. I first spoke with Tom Damewood, Emergency Management Director of Lawrence Memorial Hospital.
Every disaster is going to be a little bit different, and each one's going to have multiple disasters within it. And so once we identify what our highest probabilities are in the county, we work together with our agencies to work on how would we approach the deal with that disaster occurred.
Next, I spoke with Sergeant Amy Rhodes on how the Lawrence Police Department goes about its emergency training routines.
But we see the worst of the worst every day in law enforcement. I mean, people don't usually call us if they're having a good day. Right. And so the way that we train is we train that, you know, how we would respond if something bad happens, how are we going to respond to that? Whether that's an active shooter or if there's you know, some sort of hostage situation or even, you know, just a really bad domestic where somebody's been severely injured.
In addition to talking to Damewood and Sergeant Rhodes, I also spoke with Terry Smith, Director of Douglas County Emergency Management. Now, Smith told me that they deal with the more logistical side of these emergencies, such as preparing schools and Lawrence businesses to deal with a emergency situation like an active shooter or severe weather. I'm G.J. Amelia, KUJH News.
For more information on these services, call the Lawrence Police Department at 785-830-7400.
With Campus Carry coming to KU next July, guns have been a big topic for discussion. In many recent shootings, the gun used has been misidentified as an assault rifle. KUJH reporter Katie Taylor takes a look at what is considered and what qualifies as an assault rifle.
Shootings in places like San Bernardino, Orlando, Dallas, and New Orleans are only increasing conversation about guns. There has been a discussion on what exactly is an assault rifle, and the manager of Centerfire Shooting Sports in Olathe, Alex Hill, helps to clarify the difference.
A common misconception out there is to call them assault rifles in the case of rifle. Assault rifle originally meant a rifle that was capable of what's known as select fires.
Select fire means that you can flip the switch from full auto, which is a 3-round burst, to semi-automatic. Assault rifles are actually not as common as regular semi-automatic guns that are usually used in conceal and carry.
The supply of those has been cut off for the last 30 years, making them more of a collector item, on the collector market, as opposed to something that you or I would own functionally.
One Lawrence man wants to start a gun range in the town to exercise the rights to practice our Second Amendment.
Our little group got bigger and bigger and bigger, and more and more and more people, and people started saying, too bad we don't have a gun range, too bad. So that put the idea in my head, so I'd come home, got on the internet and started looking to see what it would cost to do it and do everything. And believe it or not, I've been working on this since August of 2014.
Gun laws regarding assault rifles, handguns, and other weapons vary from state to state. Reporting from Lawrence, Katie Taylor, KUJH News.
Semi-automatic rifles and other firearms are designed to look like their military counterparts, but do not have the capabilities of select fire to be fully automatic weapons. Coming up, is the crime rate higher at KU as the temperatures increase? And Pokemon comes back from the 90s, but this time it's mobile. Find out more after the break.
When you shop local in the heart of the city, you support the people that make our community thrive. The money you spend here stays here, in this place we call our home. Lawrence, Kansas, where there's good old-fashioned hometown pride. Eat local, drink local, shop local.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
The Here apartments off Indiana and 11th Street have been in the works since the fall semester of 2015. But will they be finished in time for residents to move in on August 7th? GJ Melia is live with the story. GJ?
Hey guys, thank you. So when we first reported on this story in June, now the Senior Vice President of CA Student Living, Brad Moeller, told us that everything was on time. Everything was scheduled for the August 7th move-in date. That no longer is the case now. I spoke to Jamie Franklin, a junior soon to be living in the new Here apartments, and she told me that it is now moved back from August 7th to August 17th, 10 days. So now, Here has given renters like Franklin two options. Either use a portion of their rent for a hotel for those 10 days, or get paid $50 a day for each of the days that Here misses that August 7th mark. Now, it's not just the apartments. There are issues with the street, both 11th Street and Indiana. So, will they be done? Only time will tell. Back to you guys.
As temperatures increase, crime tends to as well. But is that the case for KU? Chris Sitek has more.
Lawrence is the home of the University of Kansas, a campus of 28,091 students who all are at a potential risk to crime. So are more students at risk during the calendar school year or outside of it? A university police captain has the answer.
We sometimes see a rise in crime the first few months of school, August, September, October, when students first come back. We see a little bit of decline, and then sometimes it goes back up right after spring break.
The Lawrence Police Department sergeant talked about the types of crime that rise during the school year.
I would say that the most noted one would be the traffic accidents definitely increase when students are in the calendar school year. Our alcohol-related offenses increase significantly. Our noise disturbances increase significantly during the school year.
Captain Anguiano said it best. Be aware of your surroundings when you're out and rely on the police force's ability to respond to any areas of concern. Reporting from Lawrence, I'm Chris Sitek.
To report any crimes on campus, you can call Crime Stoppers at 785-864-8888 or an emergency, call 911.
The Pokemon Go phenomenon has taken over Lawrence, much like it has taken over the country. KUJH reporter Will Weber has more on Pokemon Go's hold on the Lawrence community.
This past Wednesday, Niantic released Pokemon Go, a location-based augmented reality mobile game, and people all over Lawrence are glued to their phones even more than usual.
For me, I've just been putting off playing the game because I knew I'd get into it, and so I've been playing it for, well, half my battery now. So
the mobile app sticks to the winning formula where users seek new Pokemon in the wild and gotta catch them all.
I did meet like 4 or 5 people just a minute ago, and we all kind of like walked down Mass Street, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is a Squirtle. So I think it's kind of cool that Nintendo is kind of combating obesity while preying on our childhood.
Trainers find Pokemon through a GPS system integrated with Google Maps and toss Pokeballs at monsters projected in the user's environment with the device's camera lens.
oh, but it's just like
you can find electric ones at Transformers and during thunderstorms, and you can find normals or naturals, whatever it is, at just anywhere.
yeah, we were doing that.
urban
He
areas.
just took over the gym apparently, and then some dude came and smacked him down with a Butterfree. We were like, who is that? And this dude goes, sorry about the Butterfree, man.
Using information from Google's databases, the game provides Pokestops at local businesses and memorials where users can stock up on items and collect new Pokemon.
It's interesting that Granada's a Pokestop. There's definitely a lot of sentiment here that, wishing we were a gym instead of just a Pokestop, but still a lot of kind of activity around here, group of people just like chilling under the marquee, 5 or 6 usually, like all catching the same Pokemon and stuff. And we're still working on a way to capitalize on it, but should be pretty interesting.
Pokemon Go is available for download free on both iOS and Android devices.
You caught them all yet, Candace?
I have not, but the weather's been a little hot to be getting out there, so.
Yeah, I think the only thing I've caught is the sunburn so far walking around out there, but for more on weather, we've got Alden German.
It is a little bit hot outside, but it still feels nice regardless. Here is our almanac from yesterday. It's been a while since I've been here. 92 degrees is our reported high yesterday. Our record yesterday was 104 back in 1935, so we're not going to have any weather that hot for quite a while. And notice our range gauge for yesterday was 0. That's going to change starting tomorrow. But first, our hourly planner for the rest of today. We have a mix of sun and clouds for now, but as we go on throughout the day, our temperatures are going to eventually warm up, 87 degrees at 2 o'clock. By 4, we should be up to 90. The clouds will also clear out a little bit, and come 8 p.m. we'll begin our cool down at 82 degrees. So for today, we're going to go with a high of 89, partly cloudy. It is going to feel fairly humid. Our winds will be out the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Overnight tonight, it's going to be a little bit tricky. We do have a chance for some isolated showers and thunderstorms. The clouds will definitely be increasing, and our winds will still be out of the north. For tomorrow, though, we will have rain in the first half of the day. Thunderstorms, a few strong ones, may be possible. Our temperatures will be similar to what they were today at 86 degrees, but our afternoon will definitely be dry. And in our 5-day forecast, the weekend might have some rain showers there in it. Otherwise, temperatures are still going to be fairly average, but come next week on Monday, we're going to begin to dry out and warm up. So I would try to enjoy this seasonable weather while we can, because it is going to warm up fairly soon, guys.
Coming up in sports, 5 Jayhawks are on the road to Rio, and Andrew Riggins returns to Lawrence. We'll have more coming up next.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas. A great place to be you.
Welcome back into KUJH. I'm Dylan Troyd.
And I'm Ryan Levine with your look at sports.
5 former or current Jayhawk track and field members have qualified for the 2016 Olympics held in Rio de Janeiro next month. KUJH sports reporter Joey Reed has more.
This year, there were 4 former Jayhawks, along with 1 current Jayhawk, that qualified for the 2016 Rio Olympics. At their media availability day, KU track coach Stanley Redwine talked about how special that feat is.
5 former and current athletes from the Jayhawk team that's going to be representing different countries in the Olympics. So it's been the first time since 1960 to have that many people, so we're really excited about what's happening here.
Kyle Clemens, a former KU sprinter who qualified for the U.S. 4x400 meter relay team, talked about what it means to make the Olympics at this stage in his career.
This is the highest stage that any athlete can compete at, and just being able to go to the Olympics, that's just a huge blessing and extremely grateful, it's just like the icing on the cake.
Junior sprinter Zainab Sani, the only current Jayhawk to qualify for the Rio Olympics, talked about what it meant to her and her family to represent her home country.
Very, very supportive. I have a great family. They're not always there, out here supporting me when I'm, at track meets and whatnot, but I know I communicate with them a lot. They watch out for me. They read stats and whatnot. And, they're very proud of me going back home and running for my country. They're really happy about that and excited that, I made it through.
Former KU discus thrower Mason Finley talked about how his preparation for the Olympics has become more about mentality than physicality.
At this point, it's mostly mental. We've done all the physical work that we can, and just staying staying toned, and basically it's a mental game now.
Recent KU graduate Dana Levy qualified to be the first ever Jamaican hammer thrower to compete in the Olympic Games. Levy discussed what this meant for her country and the sport.
I think having exposure for the hammer is going to make a huge difference. People actually are learning what it is. People are getting more opportunities to train in the hammer, so I think you'll see a lot more Jamaicans coming out of Jamaica to the U.S. People don't realize it. Even Jamaicans themselves don't really realize there are people here working just as hard as your sprinters are, just as hard as everybody else is, and we deserve some recognition too.
For KUJH Sports, I'm Joey Reed.
Andrea Gubel was the other Jayhawk to qualify for Rio, but was not in Lawrence several weeks ago. Redwine did comment on the former Jayhawk who was on the 2013 National Championship team. The Rio Olympics will begin on August 5th and conclude on the 21st.
The Kansas men's golf team added another list of accolades to its season this year when senior Connor Peck and junior Chase Hanna were named to the GCAA All-America Scholars List. To be eligible for this honor, the players must academically qualify as either a junior or senior, compete at the collegiate level for more than 3 years while maintaining a GPA of 3.2 or above. Over the course of the season, Peck played an intricate role in KU's first NCAA regional appearance since 2007, while also leading the team in 6 statistical categories. During his junior season, Hanna led the Jayhawks in scoring twice, including the team's first tournament title of the year at the Badger Invitational.
After an unprecedented 2015 season, Kansas volleyball looks to improve on a 30-3 season. Head coach Ray Bouchard loses 4 players from the 2015 team in Tiana Dockery, Anna Church, Ashlyn Driscoll, and Janae Hall. Kansas returns 10 players from last year's team, which includes senior libero Cassie Waite and 2015 Big 12 Setter of the Year junior setter Anise Havili. Kansas will host their Crimson and Blue scrimmage on Saturday, August 20th at 1 p.m. at Horse Family Athletic Center. The first home match for the team will be the Kansas Invitational September 2nd and 3rd, as Kansas will take on Chicago State, Maryland, and Arkansas. Kansas opens up the 2016 season at Mississippi State on August 26th.
Sports Pavilion Lawrence hosted the Kansas All-Star Camp last week, which featured current and former Jayhawks. The event, which was put on by Ben McLemore and Andrew Wiggins, marked the first time that Wiggins has been back in Lawrence since his last appearance in 2014. And prompters now. With 135 campers ages 6 and up, McLemore and Wiggins played pickup basketball with the kids, showing off some skills of their own. And of course, it wouldn't be an Andrew Wiggins appearance without that famous smile that everyone loves.
Kansas football is hard at work getting ready for their new season to kick off. Head coach David Beatty and the rest of the Jayhawk football team have been practicing throughout the entire summer to get ready to face their first opponent, the Rhode Island Rams. Picked to finish 10th in the Big 12 preseason poll, the Jayhawks are looking to snap a 15-game losing streak dating back to the 2014 season. At Big 12 Media Days last week in Dallas, Beatty said the Jayhawks are entirely focused on Rhode Island, coming off a winless season, only the second in program history. Beatty refuses to look past even the first opponent. The Jayhawk Nation deserves better than what we were able to give them and what they've gotten in the recent past. It pains me for that, Beatty said at Big 12 Media Days. Beatty also mentioned the competition between redshirt junior quarterback Montel Cozart and sophomore quarterback Ryan Willis is far from being settled. Willis threw for a freshman record of 1,719 yards in the 2015 season after Cozart was sidelined due to injury. Kansas football is set to open their season on September 3rd against Rhode Island. Well, Ryan, I know both of us witnessed that season last year. Yeah. What do you think David Beatty and
I think it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back from that season. But I think there's a lot of optimism and a lot of hope, and he's really finding a way to motivate his players in more ways than just being good players on the field.
You know, there was a couple of times at home and then one away game at TCU where they were competitive throughout, and then after that TCU game, things kind of just fell apart. The last few games of the season, the K-State game and the.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that the talent is there. It's just a matter of time before KU football is back up on top.
Well, we'll see about that. That's all for sports. We'll be right back after this.
When you shop local in the heart of the city, you support the people that make our community thrive. The money you spend here stays here, in this place we call our home. Lawrence, Kansas, where there's good old-fashioned hometown pride. Eat local, drink local, shop local.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
We hope karma is on your side for the upcoming school year, much like this Chicago Uber driver. Jose Figueroa picked up a man at O'Hare International Airport on Monday morning. The man he picked up spoke little English, had come from the Ukraine, and came to the U.S. to look for work. Figueroa then found a wallet containing $3,000 after he dropped the man off at his sister's apartment. So later that day, he drove up to the apartment where he had dropped the man off and started to ring up the units above. On the fourth try, he found the man and his family.
When I entered the apartment, they were just having dinner. So she was very happy. She hugged me. She started crying, and she sat me down to have dinner with them.
Figueroa was rewarded for his honesty. The man insisted he take $100. So you ready to graduate?
Yeah, it's been a long 4.5 years, I would say, or one summer at least. But
yeah,
you looking forward to your last year?
I am.
Upcoming semester as an editor-in-chief, is that right?
Yes, indeed. It's gonna be fun.
Any big plans for the Kansans this semester?
Just be awesome.
Right on.
Well, that's all the time we have for this morning. Thanks for joining us, and have a great rest of the week, Lawrence.
From the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.